Welcome back once again. It is time for the Comics Coffee Table, 3 p.m. U.S. Eastern. We premiere. And you can catch us any time of day, any day of the week. There's plenty of shows for you to catch up on and to enjoy and to be part of. Pull up a chair, grab a cuppa, whatever it is you're shoving under your nose today there, pal. I usually exaggerate that in my Boston accent. Pull up a chair, grab a cuppa, whatever it is you're shoving under your nose today, pally. Tough guy, sizzle chest, strong man, strong person? Sheesh, don't want to get canceled on Twitter. Oh, that's a darn good cup of coffee. Cheers to you. Here's to you. Seriously, thanks for showing up. This is a geeky chill stream. We spend our coffee break together. That's pretty much it. We leave the real world problems over there. We take a break from our job, our kids, our problems, maybe the traffic, and we chill out together for a couple of minutes a day, just talking about comic books. Hopefully taking our minds off of our minds and using the escapism that we love for its purpose of escapism. Indeed, we usually we're reboarding, rebagging, and reboxing my entire comic book collection, and but on Sundays we cover the new releases that I bought this very week at my local comic book shop on the new release shelves. One of the big points of this show is advocacy, its agenda, its messaging, its platforming, its amplification. It's also evangelizing. I'm an ordained minister. And I say to thee, my commandment is to say to thee, get thine ass back to thy local comic book shop, thy LCS. Or is it thine? Let me know in the comments. See, that's the good thing. You can tune in anytime, any day, and still be part of this ongoing comic book shop style conversation. This is the kind of conversations that we have in the comic book shop. Now, if you're watching it later, you can even check out the chat replay, and you should toggle from top replay to all and see what everyone's saying. And you can respond in the comments and be part of that conversation. We've been having this ongoing comic book conversation since the beginning of last year, and we've gone every single day. I'm very proud of us. So, but yeah, I go back to my LCS, my local comic book shop, and spend my money there. I need supplies with this huge project of mine. I've got several long boxes accumulating Funnybooks for the past 20 years. And it's time that I gave them a little bit of love and some especially new boxes. Those boxes have served their purpose. I need new boxes. So I need supplies. Chances are you do too. So what I'm advocating, what I'm agendaizing, what I'm messaging, what I'm amplifying, what I'm evangelizing is to spend our money at the local comic book shop. I am choosing not to use the big box stores or the online supply chain, the free shipping and the built-in movie network. You know what I'm talking about. I could be getting a price cut there as well, but no. I have agreed with myself, with my soul, with my mind, with my morals. I've agreed with myself that, hey, what's the best choice here? What Kriya Shakti? What is the right choice that suits everyone? Well, it would be getting my supplies at the local comic book shop. That's one thing I know I can be doing, making a choice, a positive choice for a better good. And that's and that's part of our culture as well as comic book fans. There's a huge overlap. You have comics as one bubble, then you have superheroes as literally another circle. Then you have your Venn diagram and your overlap. So, you can do that you can make those kind of, those PowerPoint tools yourself. I mean, we're a simple show. We have lo-fi charm. No edits, no filter, no script. We have show notes. That's about it. And we fly by the seat of our pants, and we just talk about comic books because it makes us feel good, and we love comic books. This is our hobby. We love our hobby. And, there's plenty of outlets and plenty of voices talking about what's going wrong, what's going sideways, and how it could be better. We're going to do something else. We're just going to have a geeky, chill stream. And we do it every day. So let's get to it. To be honest, there were only 3 new releases this week that I picked up out of 4 that, or 5 that, interested me. But I only got 3 new releases this week and a great back issue. So these are, what's in the bag? We're playing What's in the Bag. Later, what's in the bag? What's in the bag? The ubiquitous comic book magazine flat. There you go. See, you can count, can't you? This is a good way to learn. That's 4 publications. 4, yeah. We'll find out what they are in a little. So we're gonna play something called Old School, New School. So without further ado, welcome back once again. It's time for the golden age of DC Comics 365 days, where I take this well-beloved hardcover coffee table book given to me about 2 decades ago by one of my best friends. This has been serving my coffee table ever since and has been a constant source of comic book shop-style conversations, the kind that we intend to recreate here with you and us today. Thank you so very much. My executive producer is a stuffed animal. Pre-recorded live before this very audience of stuffed animals. You can see Drunk 3PO, Jay, the Canadian bear, and the Critical Drinker Stuffy plushie. And we have fun with this stuff. Why not? Thank you so much for tuning in. This is a wonderful book. It's a 2004 Abrams publication, written and curated by Les Daniels, Chip Kidd, with photographs by Jeff Spear. You can find the link in the description to its Amazon page, where you can get your own copy and play along at home. The thing is simple. We're using this book for its intended purpose. It's a 365 days book. We're going to open up to today's date. Oh, look at my wrist. That's from Dr. Horrible. Sing-along blog. Joss Whedon. Okay. The premise is simple. We're going to open up the book to today's date. We're going to look at some comic book art of an antediluvian age. We're going to read the blurb, and then we're going to talk about comic books. And we're going to talk about comic books, you guessed it, every day for the rest of the year. So let's get to it. Pikachu, theme music. Oh, that's right. We're a lo-fi show. We don't use music. We don't use filters. We don't use, Oh, wow. One of my favorite characters in the world. But there's always something to talk about with comic books. Just for a couple of minutes in the day, this is how we take our coffee break. And this is how we started our coffee break last year on January 1st. We opened up this book to January 1st. We looked at some comic book art of an antediluvian age. We read this blurb. And then we talked about comic books for a couple of minutes that day. And the show kept growing, and the audience kept growing, and subscribers keep growing, and this channel keeps growing. And we've done this together. I didn't do this alone, and it wasn't Pika's motivation, and it wasn't Drinka's excellent skills with camera and microphones, and it wasn't Stuffed J being Stuffed J. Hey, shout out to Drunk 3PO. I'm not kidding. It was all of us. Thank you so very much. Everyone in the live chat, everyone in the comments, and everyone just tuning in for the first time too. Welcome. This is our comics coffee table. The coffee table was always where we would hang out as friends. There would be a stack of movies. There would be a stack of books. There was always a stack of books on the coffee table, and still are. There'd be a stack of music. It's the only CD I have left. Wow, this is great. This is Fear and Loathing in Las Vegas. It's a studio cast recording for its 25th anniversary. It's like an old radio play. It's really fun. And yeah, Abbey Road, the only Beatles album I got left. Or there'd be a stack of video games, you know. I'm a PlayStation guy. Before that was Sega Genesis, if you're wondering. These are one, you know. So the coffee table was always where my friends and I would hang out, and there would always be also a stack of funny books, a stack of comic books that we were trying to get each other to read. Yeah, and because what's cooler than hanging out with your friends and grabbing a cup of whatever it is you're shoving under your nose? I mean, depending on the time of day, we could be having coffee, or there could be, you know, beers and glasses of wine, depending on what time of night, you know. And it was the 20th century, and it was an overfilled ashtray usually that needed, you know, dumping, and you always want to wait a little bit. I don't know how many trash cans I've set on fire dumping out a still hot ashtray. You know what I mean? Jeez, think about it. It's thank you, Lord. So let's get to it. We're doing it old school, just for a couple of minutes. I hope you're enjoying. This is how the show started and what we grew into. So today is June the 25th, and I usually don't say the date, or like, well, Sunday's Sunday. It's a new release Sunday, so it's part of the show. But usually, I like to think that the show is about like 90% evergreen content. You can tune in any day, anytime, and still feel, though, as we're part of this comic book shop style conversation. Like anyone, you could just walk into the store and there'd be 2-3 cats talking about something. You'd be like getting your stuff, and you can hear what they're talking about and be like, hey, but actually, in Green Lantern number 19, oh, that's right. Oh, okay. And hence the conversation continues. So it's June the 25th. This is story by Jerry Siegel and art by Bernard Bailey from More Fun Comics number 60, October of 1940. The U.S. has not yet entered World War II. World War II has been going on since 1939. Yet Germany's aggressions, preceded that by several years as well. And the United States, 1919 was when World War I ended. It affected the entire world. This was just 100 years ago, 3 generations. Electricity became a modern standard. Radio became movies, cinema, and this proliferation of story, of fiction, and also of news and of information as well. And telephone wires, not just telegraph anymore, telephone, refrigeration, railways, automobiles, the pill as a delivery device for medicine, antibiotics. All of these things happened at this axial time of the early 1900s. Women's suffrage, the ability for women to be able to vote in fair elections. It was this huge time. There was an influenza epidemic that was horrible. Then there was also the Great Dust. There was the Dust Bowl in America and the Great Depression. So after all this comes, this is your little history lesson of the U.S. American history lesson of the early 20th century. But it's kind of important. It frames context. Comic books, why we're all here. Now, what came before comic books was newspapers, newspaper strips, newspaper dailies. Everybody read newspapers. There was the funny pages in the newspapers. There was your sports section, the obits, classified sections, help wanted, local news, international news. editorials, op-ed. Do I get it covered? Pretty much. And the puzzle, and with the funny pages was like the crosswords and the puzzles. Daily, you had 3 panels of different stories, fictions, sequential art, like 3 panels or something like that. In newspapers daily, you had archetypical heroes being introduced to 2 and 3 generations of Americans daily, like Beetle Bailey. You know who he is? Dick Tracy. You might have heard of him. Little Orphan Andy, the Katzenjammer Kids. The list goes on and on. Why don't you read the blurb and show the art, Sully? We're going to get there. But thank you for listening to my little history lesson. I love history. I love art. I love history. You know what I mean? It's the Spectre. Dun, dun, dun! One of the first OP, overpowered characters in fiction. In comic books. Remember, the golden age of DC Comics starts in 1938 with Action Comics #1, cover date of June of 1938. Happy 85th birthday. So this American mythology of comic books that we know and love, and then that have all these superheroes, 85 years old. The golden age of DC Comics runs between 1938 and 1955. The Silver Age between 1956 and 1970, the Bronze Age between 1970 and 1984, the Copper Age between 1984 and 1993, and we have been in some nebulous catch-all modern age of comics from 1993 until today. I get this from the glossary of the Overstreet Comic Book Price Guide. I had my own ideas of what eras were, but this is a standard. This is an industry standard. Oh, wait a second. This is the most current edition. And you can get this at your local comic book shop. If they don't have it, you can ask them to order it. Why not? And spend your money there. There are links in the description as well. You can get these books and play along at home. The Overstreet Guides. Actually, my parents gave me these books for Christmas last year. This entire season is dedicated to my parents. Thank you very much. I love you. And but yeah, the glossary of this industry standard. That's what I just rattled off there. Those are the ages of comic books. Now, other places have variations on that theme. Sure. Yes, you could too. I do. Have your own. And tell me what it is in the comment section. I'm here for that conversation. I really am. That's the golden age. The golden age of DC Comics started in 1938. But this is more fun comics. This is from More Fun Comics number 60 of October of 1940. So we've just you already said that. Yeah, but then we had to talk about history. We had to talk about 1940. And then we also had to talk about the Great Depression and coming out of the Great Depression. And when? That was about 1935, right? And kids had something that they never had before. Pocket change. Disposable income. And so we're getting there. I think pocket change and availability, a spinner rack, a newsstand, and then something at eye level that's eye-catching and eye-fetching to a young person with something new, a disposable income. Here we're coming around the bend. We need to get to our new releases too. The Spectre appeared virtually omnipotent until this story when he seemed to meet his match and then some. An evil scientist named Xenon, Xnon, maybe Xenon, acquires the power to control the Spectre and order him to commit mass murder. At the last second, the tormented hero experiences the epiphany shown here. He ends up confronting a patch of light and receives the gift of a ring. A ring that enables him to defy even Xenon. But it still looks like he's not a patch on that patch. Whatever that means. Well, a patch on a patch is like, how to fix a bicycle, tire. And if you didn't have much money, you would put a patch on a patch, I guess. If you know what that means, put that in the comments, please. I want to know. But More Fun Comics, number 60. All right. Here's the rub. More Fun Comics. I'm going to read this, you guessed it, from the wiki. That's right. More Fun Comics, originally titled New Fun, the Big Comic Magazine, a.k.a. New Fun Comics, was a 1935 to 1947 American comic book anthology that introduced several major superhero characters and was the first American comic book series to feature. Let's do that again. More Fun Comics, right here that we're talking about today. It was the first American comic book series to feature solely original material rather than reprint newspaper comic strips. So More Fun Comics. So when you say something like, we had the 30th anniversary of DC Comics in 1985 with Crisis on Infinite Earths, this is because More Fun Comics number 1 was published in 1935. When we have DC 1 Million set in the 853rd century, and all the issues had the 1 million issue thing, it would have been the 1 millionth issue of More Fun Comics if that had published monthly in perpetuity up to that point. When would the 1 millionth issue of More Fun Comics? It would come out in the 853rd century. And that was a fun gimmick. I really liked that. From the mind of Grant Morrison, if I believe. But it was the first comic book. And because remember, newspapers, everyone read newspapers. Everyone made time for newspapers. Everyone had a dime for a newspaper or a nickel. We should look it up. How much did newspapers cost how much did newspapers cost in the 1940s? 5 cents. Half the price of this newfangled thing, the comic book. Comic books usually went for 10 cents. 10 cents then is about $2.10 today, roughly. It depends. We do use the CPI inflation calculator from the U.S. Bureau of Labor Statistics. And 10 cents. Let's put 10 cents in 1935. No, 1938. June of 1938. Why not? $2.16. All right, we were close, but it seemed to have. It's because that's inflation. It ebbs and flows. I've seen it at about $1.89, $1.93, like $2.06. It depends on literally on what day you look that value up. And but a newspaper costs 5 cents. A funny book cost 10. And it got up to 12 sooner or later, but you had 60 pages, and you had it. You owned it. You rolled it up and put it in your back pocket. I will not do this to any of these comics. What's in the bag? It's time for new releases. I've been watching too much Yule Carter. I love his. I love his show. Listen, everyone, in the sound of my voice, my friend Yule Carter, he's an owner of Fantastic Comics in Berkeley, California. And there's the Fantastic Comics YouTube page. I'm going to put the link in the description. Go check it out and subscribe and watch his wonderful Tuesday night show. If you like this show, you're going to love his show. And you probably already know him, you know what I mean, from this live chat. And, I see a lot of familiar faces. I love that. Let me just write Yule link. Leave Yule's link alone. He's got to flush his own toilets. Ha ha, that was a poo joke. Hey, let's have a sip of coffee. It's almost the end of the show. It's a great show. And let's see what we got this week. Okay, what did I pass on? I'm going to tell you. I passed on Wonder Woman 800, and just because of the writers. I got blocked by Tom King on Twitter for a good reason. I gave him a rash of hell after Heroes in Crisis. I deserved that. Who the heck is Becky Cloonan? I don't know. I've never interacted with this individual, and I wish them well. Her husband, Conrad, hasn't blocked me on Twitter, but I just can't give my money to people that hate me. Don't give money to people that hate you. Try to give us, you know what I mean? I'm not. Thank you. That's all I got to say. Sorry, I know Wonder Woman 800. It's probably first appearance of what? Who cares? Is it a key issue? Time will tell. So the other one, we'll talk about that at the end of the show, because we're 3 for 3 this week. It's great, and it's spread over the gamut. We've got a DC funny book. We've got a Marvel funny book. A new Marvel funny book. We've got Mad Cave. I'll start off with Mad Cave. This has been probably my favorite, new idea, new story in 2023. I read a lot of superhero comics and a lot of old friends, a lot of, predictable kind of properties. This is great. This is Hunt, Kill, Repeat. Excuse me. From Mad Cave Comics. And I think it wraps up in 2 more issues. I'm so hoping that this has more legs and more stories to tell with these characters, and maybe there's some forward going, because gods tend to die and rebirth. That's the god cycle, and nothing that's happened in here can't, they can't, maybe season 2 can be something like Succession, because season 1 here, with its first 6 issues, is a lot like Kill Bill by Quentin Tarantino. This is great. It's the goddess Artemis. She falls in love with a mortal. They get married, and she's pregnant. And the rest of the gods find out, because they're not pleased with that. And they kill the husband, and they try to kill her, but she's actually comatose and powerless. And she wakes up, and she goes on a vengeance kick with some help. And then she finds out about, she thought she lost her baby. But did she? If you know Kill Bill, then you know this story. It's the bride as the goddess Artemis, and she's got her kill list 5. it's pretty entertaining. It's pretty good art, and I really like it. We have got Mark Waid and Dan Moore's World's Finest number 16. Great art, great storytelling, great pacing. This is just good. So top of the line stuff. I love this art. I mean, you can't get away with digital. You can't get away from digital stuff like enhancement. Dan Mora, is a good artist, and and these are still decent panels, But it uses the whole toy box, and he has a lot of fun with it. This is Mark Waid doing what he's meant to be doing, writing really good superhero comic books. And once again, we're looking at ads. We love looking at ads. Well, all the ads are house ads. We don't really get much product anymore that we would actually buy on shelves outside of But yeah, Dark Crisis on Infinite Earths. Kind of nuts. All right. Well, the answer was no, because, but yeah, look, great spot. Look at that page. And it's a nice kind of modern spin on the Bronze Age. This is the modern age, our new age, our Iron Age, perhaps. This is our Iron Age lens on the Bronze Age. A little idealized, but very classical. And actually, I like the skin tone. I'm a big fan of Firestorm. A huge fan of Firestorm. He was a new character when I was a kid. And he's got a really good power set. And I felt like he was one of the last true heroes of the Silver Age. Because a lot of the Silver Age heroes had, yes, he was premiered in the Bronze Age, and he was one of the big Bronze Age heroes. But he was engineered. All of his DNA came from the Silver Age. He's got a hero with a science message. He's got the dumb jock and the professor. They fused to make the Firestorm Matrix and the hero. So Ronnie, the dumb jock, has all of these powers, but he doesn't know how to use them. Professor Stein is in his head telling him how to use his powers. And calamity ensues when Professor Stein is incapacitated and Ronnie doesn't know his science and his chemistry, or his algebra, or and it was a really interesting way to, that's how you message to children. I mean, those are the learning moments in comics. What's a mole? In science and chemistry, not Mole Man as in Fantastic Four. Oh, we're gonna get to those Marvel comics. Let's get to some Marvel comics. I picked up Philip Kennedy Johnson's Incredible Hulk #1 with art by Nick Klein. This was incredible. It was really fun. Here's we got the ad on the back on vinyl and CD. Yeah, like your CD will even play on your PlayStation anymore. I mean, do you have an optical drive on your computer? I mean, I do because I requested one. I'm a 20th century dude. Sometime I'm gonna need, a DVD, a Blu-ray writer. That's cool. I think that's cool. I like gadgets. But this is great. Incredible Hulk #1, really horror, really over the top, really moody. This is great. It's like, it reminds me of Richard Corbin art in a way. Or like Warren comics, like Creepy. I used to love Creepy as a kid. But look at this, it's so spooky. Oh, the turkey's done. That's great. But it's Bruce Banner on the run, on the road, just in medias res. Just seriously, it opens up with some calamity, like some Indiana Jones level stuff of why are you opening up that tomb, and you did, and now guess what? You have unleashed some monsters. So it's going to be monsters versus Incredible Hulk. Seriously. And then we turn the page and there we go. It's Bruce Banner walking on the road. Ding ding. You can hear the door open in my head. There you go. Ka-ding. There's your onomatopoeia. And of course, Jack Steiner ends up in rubble because that's like Bruce Banner's thing. Was he to blame for that? We don't know. But look at that. It's all show, don't tell. I don't know the Hulk story before this. I don't need to. I can just jump right in and enjoy this. And we've got a killer transformation scene. Look at these panels. Look at the sequence. Look how organic this looks. This is great. Look at the hatching on Hulk's musculature. Look, behold the power of pencil. This is great. This is look at his mouth. I never expected that. Wow. I think this is a powerful splash page. I love this splash page. This is really good. Very fun. Very happy with this, and I'm looking forward to more. And but it's just an issue #1, and we go from here. And those are the 3 new releases this week. I only got 3, and I passed on Wonder Woman 800 out of my morality, and I passed on Ultimate Invasion #1, an $8.99 comic book by Jonathan Hickman and Brian Hitch that's bringing back the Ultimate Universe in a way. I'm huge, Maxi big into the Maxi Bombad, no, Misa now got a boomer, Jaja get a boomer. I love episode 1. I love the Gungans. You can't take that away from me. I should have I want a life-size Jar Jar Binks in the background. That, yeah. Well, maybe not. I don't have the space for it. If I did, then talk to me then. I passed on it. I picked it up, I put it down. If there was a variant cover, I would have been more into getting it. They're like, no, it's just the first appearance of a new universe, and it's a new Ultimate Universe, and it has a bad guy that I really like. It's an evil Reed Richards. He's from the Ultimate Universe, Ultimate Spider-Man, Ultimate Team Up, Ultimate X-Men. I was huge into that in the early aughts when that was coming out. Seriously, we got so many Ultimate Spider-Man floppies that we're going to be talking more and more about Ultimate Universe when we get to boarding and bagging those Ultimate Comics. We've got so many of those. But I did get a Marvel comic for $10. I did. So I put that down. But instead, I got this for $10 from the back bin. This is Fantastic Four issue number 238 from 1981. And I'm a sucker for the Columbia 10-speed racer banner ad. That's just my thing. It's going on my spinner rack. But I gotta say, like, I read this. We talk about so much words and bubbles in comics today. I mean, I think I'm not saying it's a bunk argument, but I'm saying look where we came from. We found time and space and story to have narrative caption, to have thought bubbles, dialogue bubbles. See, look, thought bubbles. Do we see what, and look at that arrow. See, that's directing your eye in case you weren't, a little, didn't know how to read that sequence. This is a fun comic book. And this is just great art by, look at this, like, once again, like, melodramatic moments between Johnny Storm and his girlfriend here, who's got, now she's got flame powers too. And then this is the best part at the end. I got to wrap this up. We're getting long in the tooth. Sorry about that. But look, we have the hostess ad. But at the end of this tale, this tale got a backup feature that actually plays into the next couple of years of a Fantastic Four. But we have a pinup of Susan Richards. This isn't Sue Storm, the recent grad student, whoever she is. This is early 30-something married woman, mother of Franklin, soon to be mother of Valeria when she comes around. But look at these. This is John Byrne art. And he wrote this as well. These are really good stories. John Byrne, wrote is the post-crisis reboot of Superman, like doing the Man of Steel and then doing like World of Krypton, World of Smallville, and World of Metropolis. I love those 3 minis. I was really into it. He's also, I'm going to read this from the wiki. He's the co-creator of Marvel characters such as Kitty Pryde, Emma Frost, Sabretooth, Shadow King, Scott Lang, Rhodey, James Rhodes, Bishop, Omega Red, Rachel Summers, and the Canadian superhero team Alpha Flight. On DC, he co-created Amanda Waller and Cassie Sandsmark, one of the Wonder Girls. Or would it be the Wonders Girl? I don't know. What do you think? The Girls Wonder? Maybe it's one. Okay, I'll accept Wonder Girls. But John Byrne, you know what I mean? He's 72 years old. He's got a reputation, and he was just a master of the 80s. I mean, and this was a great issue. So I did buy a $10 Marvel magazine this week, and it's going on the spinner rack with the rest of it. It looks like 1981 out there. Yeah, one day we'll have a spinner rack special. Thank you so very much for tuning in today. It's been a lot of fun. Subscribe if you haven't already, if you're tuning in for the first time. Subscribe today. We make daily content. We talk about comic books every day, 3 p.m. U.S. Eastern. Be part of it. You're welcome here. Pull up a chair to our coffee table. Grab a cuppa, whatever it is you're shoving under your nose there today, Pally. That's right. Would you like a cup? I got fresh cuppa. Fresh pots? We got it here. Cheers. God bless. Namaste. Good luck. We will see you again tomorrow in those funny pages. Ciao. Bye-bye.